Hi, everyone. Welcome to the general information session for the 2026 NYSCA NYFA Artist Fellowship Program. My name is Audrey Tauberger, and I'm a Senior Program Officer at NYFA, or the New York Foundation for the Arts, and I look forward to giving you an overview of this year's program. Before we get started, I wanted to share some upcoming information sessions that we're hosting. We'll be having an information session for each of the 5 categories that we're offering for this year's program. The dates and times are up on the slide, and we currently have RSVP links that are on NYFA's website. You do need to RSVP if you want to attend one of the sessions. And these sessions will be taking place on Zoom, and they will end in a Q&A. So if you have any outstanding questions, you can ask them there. They will also be recorded if you're not able to make it and will be posted to NYFA's website within a week of the live session. And the recordings will also have captioning available. We also have a panelist nomination form that is currently open. You can nominate yourself or somebody else who you think would be a good fit to be a panelist. Panelists are integral to this program, and they can be New York-based artists, cultural workers, educators, and community leaders. And they'll be tasked with reviewing the applications for one of the 5 categories that we're offering. You are not able to apply to be a panelist if you are also currently applying for the 2026 program. But if you aren't, then we highly encourage you to apply to be a panelist. The nomination form is currently live on Submittable, and the deadline to apply is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Eastern. However, we do encourage you to apply early if you are interested. An agenda for today's information session will start with an overview of the grant program. We'll then go over eligibility, then how to apply, the evaluation process, and then we'll end with some application tips. So an overview of this program, the NYSCA NYFA Artist Fellowship is an $8,000 unrestricted cash grant available to artists living in New York State and or one of the tribal nations located therein. The grant is awarded in 15 different disciplines over a 3-year period, and we offer 5 categories per year, and the application is free to complete. The fellowship is not a project grant, but it is intended to fund an artist's vision and voice at all levels of their artistic development. Up here, we have the 5 categories that we're offering this year. For 2026, the disciplines are craft sculpture, digital electronic arts, nonfiction literature, poetry, and printmaking, drawing, and book arts. Applications are currently open as of Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025, and they will close on Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please note that 5 p.m. Eastern is a hard deadline, and at that time, Submittable closes, and we are not able to accept applications after that time. So we just encourage you to submit your application before that 5 p.m. deadline. And then all applicants will be notified of the status of their application in summer 2026. So next we have eligibility. Who can apply for this program? You must be 25 years or older by the application deadline date. So that's Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. You must be a current resident of New York State and or one of the tribal nations located within New York State. And you also must have maintained New York State residency and or residency in one of the tribal nations for at least the last 2 consecutive years, which would have been 2024 and 2025. You are not able to be enrolled in a degree-seeking program of any kind at the time of applying. And you also must be the originators of the work that you're applying with, so your work samples. So for example, you must be the choreographer or playwright rather than interpretive artists such as dancers or actors. More eligibility, you are not able to apply if you have received a NYSCA NYFA Artist Fellowship in any discipline in the past 5 years. So that would have been 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. If you have received a NYSCA NYFA Artist Fellowship before, and it's not within the past 5 years, you are eligible to apply, but you cannot submit any of the work samples that you were previously awarded a fellowship with. Also, while collaborating artists are eligible to apply, the total number of artists cannot exceed 3 individuals, which also includes the submitter. Each artist applying, if you are applying in a collaboration, must meet all of the eligibility criteria for this award. And artists applying as a collaboration cannot also apply separately as an individual in the same year. Applicants can apply for a maximum of 2 categories per year. You are not able to apply if you're a current NYFA employee or have been an employee in the last 12 months, are a member of the NYFA Board of Trustees or the Artist Advisory Committee, or an immediate family member of any of the aforementioned, or an immediate family member of a 2026 panelist. Also, artists that have been awarded this fellowship for 5 years receive emeritus status and are no longer eligible for the award. Next, how to apply. We receive all of the applications on Submittable. You can create a free Submittable account if you don't already have one. And to begin your online application, you'll need to choose the category for which you would like to apply. We have different application forms for each of the 5 categories that we're offering. And before you're able to get into the application itself, you'll see an eligibility form, and you'll need to answer all of the questions correctly just to make sure that you are eligible for the program before you're able to access the application. Then you'll need to fill out your application. If you're not ready to submit, you can always save a draft and come back to it later. But eventually you'll need to hit submit before that deadline on Tuesday, January 27th. We receive all of our applications online, so we're not able to receive applications through hard copies or through emails or through any other way other than the submittable application. And then once you do submit, you will receive an email confirmation just letting you know that we have received your application. Sometimes that email goes to spam, so make sure you check there. But do make sure you received that email confirmation because if not, it might mean something went wrong. So you can always reach out to us if you haven't received it, but make sure to look at your spam folder first. Also, a note is that we are not able to grant extensions for this program. So again, that's a hard deadline on Tuesday, January 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern. And also, we're not able to allow edits to applications. So just make sure that your application is in its final form before you click submit. Next, we have the evaluation process. Applications are reviewed over the course of 3 elimination rounds. Round 1 and 2 is where the panel will carefully review and score assigned applications independently, and the highest scoring applications will move forward into the next round of review. And then round 3 is where the panel will meet as a group and collectively discuss the final applications that have made it to that round, and it will ultimately conclude in the selecting of the fellows and the finalists. Throughout all 3 rounds of review, applications are reviewed based on 3 evaluation criteria. The first of the 3 is artistic merit. A competitive application demonstrates excellence in their discipline through strong work samples that highlight the applicant's creativity, technical proficiency, and cohesive artistic vision. The second evaluation criteria is clarity and cohesiveness. A competitive application presents clear, concise, and compelling support statements that provide valuable insights into their practice and motivations. The support statements should work together with the submitted work samples to provide a comprehensive understanding of the applicant's vision and goals. And the third one is originality and innovation. A competitive application showcases innovative methods, ideas, and/or concepts that make their work stand out within the discipline. Panelists will assess the uniqueness and originality of an applicant's approach, including the quality of execution, innovation in materials or techniques, and the overall impact of your work. Applicants may also demonstrate innovation through place-based work that is informed by or responsive to a specific location, community, or environment. And lastly, some application tips. We recommend that you review the application guidelines closely. We have PDF guidelines on the website for each of the 5 categories. And then also make sure to carefully review and answer the eligibility questions on the application. That's the first form that you'll see when you start filling out your application. So make sure that they're correct. Also, make sure that the contact information that you provide is correct. Make sure you're using an email that you check frequently, because that is how we'll notify you in summer 2026 of the status of your application. Also, make sure to allow enough time to upload your work samples, especially if you're uploading files. Sometimes it takes more time than expected. And then also do not wait for the final hours ahead of the deadline to complete and submit your application. Again, technical things do happen, and we want to make sure that you get in your application if you want to apply. So we recommend giving yourself at least a day before the deadline to submit. Again, you can start your application today and save it as a draft and keep coming back to it until you're ready to submit. And again, the deadline is Tuesday, January 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2026. And that's it for our general information session. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any outstanding questions, we have a pretty extensive FAQ on NYFA's webpage. You can also email us at any time at fellowships@nyfa.org. And we also have those information sessions for each of the 5 categories if you want more specific information on each of the categories that you might be applying to. Again, thank you all so much and good luck applying.